All right. Welcome to anybody who is new. This is the weekly live video that I do with Saint Expedite, Guede, Limbo for collective lucky numbers. Now doing them on YouTube. I was having some trouble with Instagram, so we're now doing them on YouTube. So I'm going to give people a minute because I just sent out a notification. So we do have one person who did sign up for personal lucky numbers today. Let's see. Go. All right. All right. Sorry, I just had to post something on my Instagram. Still getting used to how the YouTube works on the YouTube live. Besides pressing the live button, I don't know any other features yet. Let me see here. What's this do? Cool. All right, let's get started on the lucky numbers of the week for the collective, for those who are gonna watch the replay. So for those who don't know, first, I work with Guede Limbo. I work with many Loa, but Guede Limbo, which is synchronized with Saint Expedite and the practice of the 21 divisions of light, which I'm a voodoo priestess of. This is the statue that he is associated with. Many people know him as Saint Expedite. I know him as Saint Expedite, but I work with him primarily as Guede Limbo, which is the Loa 21 divisions and voodoo overall. Many Haitian practitioners, voodoo practitioners, work with Guede Limbo, or they may call him Guede Nibo or Papa Guede. That is the being I'm talking about when I'm talking about Guede Limbo, for those who may not know him as Guede Limbo, but that is the being I'm talking about. That's who we're working with today. He's associated with gambling, lucky numbers, fast money, quick cash, making things happen quickly that you need done that you may petition him for, or you work with somebody who petitions them like me. So shouldn't be petitioning spirits if you don't. If you are prepared to petition them, prepared and trained in voodoo, or initiated into 21 divisions or another house of voodoo. But I work with them if you need help with any financial matters, moving things along quickly, blockages, such. I'll either work with him or another spirit to assist you. Just book a consultation with me at samthespiritist.as.me or samthespiritist.com. When you see a consultation available right now, I am booked out. Right now, I'm not taking more work, at least not until July. Okay. All right. So let's get started on this week's lucky numbers. Some of you saw this. This is finally got this in. This is Guede Limbo's custom-made dice tray. Got this made for him. I finally received it from a creator on Etsy. So we're gonna be utilizing this because we were using another tray that didn't have edges and the dice kept flying everywhere. For those who don't know, this is also Guede Limbo's custom-made dice cut by another creator on Etsy. So these are things, some of the offerings that some of my followers have helped to supply my spirits, the community altar. Since this is community work, I'm utilizing this primarily for community work. So I haven't, no other real reason to utilize this. So this is some of the offerings that we've given him for these lives, for the blessings that he can bring through the lucky numbers and angel numbers that he may provide through lucky numbers that may come up, times, dates. I'm also going to be doing something else with him. I haven't offered it yet, but I will for maybe beginning in July, just to start on a fresh month. Beginning in July, I'll begin offering with him. He wanted me to do, instead of just these lucky numbers, he wanted me to do also the option for dice divination. So reading the dice, okay, separate from just giving you lucky numbers. So that is something else that should be coming starting in July. So look out for that on samthespiritist.com. You can follow me on Instagram. That's where I pretty much post everything, is instagram.com/samthespiritist. All right, so let's get started. Lucky numbers of the week for the collective is always going to be 6 dice. If you would like your personal lucky numbers of the week for you as an individual, you could always sign up in advance at samthespiritist.com. The listings are always there now on my website. You can sign up weeks in advance. You can sign up for every week if you want. however far in advance my website lets you book it for. You can sign up for each week if you want. And yeah, so let's get started. But the lucky numbers for the collective are always going to be free. There's just going to be 6 dice instead of 7. And they're just going to be in general. So they may work for you, they may not work for you. Certain things that stand out for you are what you should focus on. Dice numbers that may pop up for you. If you've seen synchronicities, focus more on those numbers than any other ones that may come out. So that's going to be different for everybody, unless you purchase an individual dice roll, like some people have already. I have somebody tonight I have to roll for after this. But if you've purchased, you know, a dice roll, then those numbers are all going to be pretty important for you. But if you're just taking the free collective ones, take the numbers and focus on the numbers that resonate with you the most, whatever your gut makes you pay attention to first, okay? Those are the numbers that are going to be most likely the luckiest for you. Okay? So get it Limbo. Gracias a misericordia. Get it Limbo first. Let me give him, I got an itching. Let me give him his offering real quick. I owe him some smokes. If you'd like to donate, well, I don't owe him. I personally already have given him his personal supply. But if you'd like to, he needs smokes. He's sharing with he's sharing with Sandy and Mama Bridget's smokes, which he's not supposed to be sharing. Each spirit needs their own for the collective. So if you'd like to donate, you could donate at paypal.me/SameAsSpiritist to my community altar so we can buy him some more offerings for himself, for the community, for collective work, so that he is more happy with us and more giving. All right. Where is, I need another cup. Give me 1 second. I thought I brought 2. All right, here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna give you another one afterwards outside tonight. Is that okay? And I'll just give you this one for this person. All right. That's what I do. Figured out a solution. All right. So let's give him our collective offering again. He also needs alcohols, so he's sharing rum with the other with the barons and the Guede. This is out of my personal stock. So if you'd like to buy him a bottle, you can send a donation to 21 of a minimum of 2121 is the suggested donation for Loa, for a community altar. If you'd like to help purchase him a bottle and purchase him smokes or any of the other offerings he likes, so such as cinnamon rolls, so that they're sweeter to us. All right, get in the bowl. Gracias, Mr. Guede. You've received your collective offering, part of it, at least the alcohol. I'm gonna give you a cigar when I go outside afterwards. Gracias, Mr. Guede. So I always say write these down because I don't write them down. I don't put them in the description, so I'm not gonna remember what they are afterwards. Just pay attention. Clean them real quick. Yo, I'm tired. I almost rescheduled this, but I was sleeping for like 7 hours after I got home from ceremony. I didn't even do anything. All I did was drive, go upstairs, help prepare a bath for like a few seconds for the Misterio. Misterio does everything, but just driving this week has beat my ass because it's like an hour, 2 hours from each place. Getting around Jacksonville, anywhere in Jacksonville, takes at least 40 minutes pretty much because of traffic, just because Jacksonville is the biggest city by landmass in the country. So pretty much it takes me an hour to get anywhere easily in this place. So I'm beat. But I didn't want to postpone it. I don't like to delay my work. I'm already behind because I was sick through May and sick on and off this month. So let's get it started. I'm here. Even though I don't feel good, I'm here. Let's see what collective lucky numbers we got today. Get a Limbo, get a Limbo, get a Limbo. I'm just talking because I got to wait to feel him because I didn't knock. He's like, you didn't knock. Gracias, misericordia, get a Limbo. Gracias, misericordia, get a Limbo. What are the lucky numbers for this week for the collective? See you next time. Gracias, misericordia. What are the lucky numbers this week for the collective? And you and Mama and Papa Bodhi, we trust. Gracias, misericordia, get a Limbo. All right. Lucky numbers of the week. Oh, I like that. The dice tray makes all the difference. All right, lucky numbers of the week. See, look at that. Look how cute that is with his baby. All right, lucky numbers of the week are, in this order, 7, 8, 7, 80. I see some angel numbers popping out here. Okay. The number 5 and the number 6. All right. 7, 8, 7, 8, 0, 5, and 6. And you guys, I accidentally gave you the bonus. So, fuck it. All right. I'm going to give you the bonus just anyways for the collective. 2, 3, 1. Numbers 21. Numbers 32. 2, 3, 1, 21, 32. Those are bonus numbers. You can do with them whatever you please. Play the lotto. If you bet sports betting, you don't have to be betting. You don't have to be gambling with these numbers either. These numbers could be angel number messages for you. These numbers could be relating to dates. Like July 8th is popping up. I think July 8th came up last week for somebody and resonated. It was important for somebody, and July 8th is coming up again. So I don't know who that was for, but it's July 8th is popping up again. It's coming up twice actually, 7-8 and then 780, July 8th. July 8th is important. Okay. Pay attention to, like, they're making me think of the World Economic Forum. I don't know why. I don't even follow WEF that seriously, because most of it's like fake news. So it's things to move the market. So things regarding like banking is what they're showing me. Banking, cryptocurrencies, banking industries, the collapse of banks, banking consolidations, banking failures, change of money. I've talked about this before, like 4 years ago. I told you that within the next 3 to 5 years, back in 2020, the money system was going to be changing. So saying something significant regarding the money system changing, I'm not saying it's going to change overnight by any means. These things take time. People would lose their shit if it did. They have to make these things happen slowly and over time. And they announce many different hints towards it to get people acclimated towards it. But the banking system, the way money works, all that's going to be changing. 7, 8, maybe news, political news, or announcements to try to make a candidate look bad. They're going to be false. And what you think is the better option is not going to be the better option for the presidency. That's all I'm hearing. I don't know. 7, 8, 7, 8, 0, 5, 6. Then I gave you guys 2, 3, 1, 21, and 32. Pay attention to your money in the sense of get smarter with money. He's saying you need to get smarter with money. You need to get more fiscally, financially responsible. You need to get used to utilizing assets like cryptocurrency. Coinbase is one of the places, but it's not as trustworthy as some may think. I personally had problems getting some of my investments out for over like 3 years. Until recently, I wasn't able to trade them. They held it up. The SEC held it up. There was a lawsuit over it, and my money, my investments weren't even accessible on Coinbase. So I wouldn't utilize Coinbase. I feel like that's more untrustworthy, even though it seems like it's this industry standard. I would look into something like Kraken, Kraken. It's another alternative cryptocurrency, purchasing and trading, holding option, and there's many others, but those are the two that I'm most familiar with, and I prefer Kraken as a cryptocurrency for buying, selling, trading, holding crypto assets such as Ripple, Bitcoin. I'm not even really concerned so much about, he's not even showing me like Bitcoin. He's talking about other investments. Bitcoin will be like a industry standard, but it's, as far as investing, it's not a good opportunity for newbies by any means, unless it completely crashed to like close to all-time lows. But he's saying get in touch with cryptos, pay attention to cryptocurrencies. You're going to wish you knew about how they worked, and you're going to wish you were more savvy about them very, very soon. It's going to happen pretty fast. Once after the new presidential election, within that new presidential term, which again could be 4 years of a term, right? But there will be major shifts to the money industry once the new president is selected. And what, like I said, pay attention to the word, the new president. Okay, I'm not going to say anything else. Once the new president is elected, NEW. Okay. What else? The number that also stood out to me was 65 here. 65 for the collective, and 78. 78 appeared to me here twice. So angel number 787. Okay. Angel number 878 is popping out. Okay. Angel number 878. Yeah, I give you that. And 78. 778. Okay. 877. He's making me focus on the 7s and the 8s for some reason. So those are more relevant to the people that are going to be watching this, going to be more important to those people. So those are the lucky numbers of the week for that. Look at the angel messages. Focus on the numbers that stood out more to you. And again, remember July 8th. And pay attention again. Sometimes the messages that pop up are going to be even more valuable than the numbers I give out. The messages about paying attention to cryptocurrency can pay off more. So don't underestimate the information that Loa, especially Guede Limbo, will give. Like, I might be talking about and doing a live about lucky numbers, but sometimes the messages, other messages relevant to it that he has me give is going to be even more valuable than the lucky numbers. Okay, the numbers and the dice are just a form of divination and a tool to help me as well to distract my mind so that he can bring messages through. So pay attention to cryptocurrencies. Don't get left behind. Some people will definitely, a lot of people will be left behind. If you don't know how to use a crypto exchange, you're going to be slow and probably panicking and confused. If you don't know how to take USD and convert it into cryptos, and you don't know how to take USD or use USDT, or which is a USD coin on the crypto exchange, to it's like an intermediary between other forms of crypto. If you don't know how to do these processes, if you don't know how to use a crypto wallet or a crypto wallet address to send money and receive money, okay, if you don't know how to use blockchain, if you don't know what blockchain is, and you don't know how the blockchain actually works, you're more likely to follow for scams. You're more likely to get be a sucker for crypto scams, and if you don't know how mining crypto works, you're going to be left behind. It's going to be, you got to start learning it now. I told people this 4 years ago. I doubt many people even listened and have learned about much yet. But he's saying it again, and that means that there's something relevant coming up somewhere around July 8th that is going to start making the shift more towards crypto. Don't know what that is exactly, but he's showing me it has to do with presidency, presidential election. Whoever the new president is going to be pushing for the utilization of cryptocurrency. Okay, as a option doesn't mean it's necessarily going to be USD is gone completely. I don't think that's going to happen completely. That takes longer. However, and it is the world reserve currency, and a lot of things are pegged to it, but there is a humongous market that a lot of people don't know about that's been thriving for over a decade, and that's a cryptocurrency market. So you need to get if you want to be up and you don't want to struggle and you want to open yourself up to more opportunities and more ways to make money and more ways to receive money, you need to get savvy in the crypto market and understanding it at the very basics. Like, get the blockchain or cryptocurrency for dummies book. That's what I started on, was a cryptocurrency for dummies book, to get started in learning all about it. So you are, at least have all the basic knowledge of it, is what he's saying. because it's going to be very relevant. And you're going to help the masses when it's announced to the masses, when it's available more and integrated more into mainstream. You start hearing about it, you know, at your banks and seeing it pop up available online on your online banking and available on all the payment processors. Like, it's going to be started to be accepted widely in the next 4 years, 5 years. Very much the norm to see it accepted widely across all merchant accounts. In addition to credit cards, PayPal, Stripe, you know, Apple Pay, Google Pay, you're going to see blockchain technologies integrated. You're going to see Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, or another cryptocurrency that is established as the universal industry standard for accepting and making payments and receiving payments. And it's already being done by a lot of companies now overseas. It's just not here in America. They don't tell you about it, but it's been going on in many countries overseas for several years now. And then you're going to be able to pay, like you're going to have prepaid. You can also like I also have a prepaid card for Bitcoin, for BitPay. It's called BitPay. So I can pay with crypto. So when I other people that don't know, I day trade. So when I day trade, a lot of the day trading exchanges, they only pay out in cryptocurrency. So I've been trading and utilizing cryptocurrencies, particularly Bitcoin, for years now. And what I like to do, because it's anonymous, all my transactions, I don't like, you know, I don't send a lot of money into my banks because I don't like the banks knowing how much I'm making. No banking institution should actually have access to like what you're purchasing, when you're purchasing, how much you're purchasing. So I don't like banks. However, I like being able to utilize BitPay. BitPay is basically putting Bitcoin on a prepaid card and utilizing that prepaid card to buy whatever you want, pretty much anonymously, okay? And it's all through blockchain technology. Like it acts like a credit card or a debit card when you go to utilize it, okay? But you basically are putting Bitcoin and money from Bitcoin and converting it into USD available on it. Okay, to use anywhere, like a credit or debit card. So you're going to need to learn how to use Bitcoin. You're going to need to learn how to use the cryptocurrency tools, is what he's saying. It's going to be really, really important for you for in the next 4 or 5 years as these changes occur. All right. All right. So that's a collective message. Thank you. Gracias, misericordia. I don't know. He was really on the crypto. You're welcome. Gracias, misericordia. Don't sleep on it either. People sleep on the stuff that mysteries talk about all the time. And then you're left behind. And then you wonder why you have blockages financially or blockages in other ways. Because you don't act when they give it to you. You don't act in the moment. You wait and you need confirmation. Maybe your bank account being negative or your bank accounts being inaccessible in the future will be confirmation. I don't know. To each their own. I'd rather know in advance and just act because I trust my spirit guides rather than get fuck myself over. Anywho, all right. So this one is for Monica. Monica, this is your offering to get a limbo. Gracias, misericordia, get a limbo. It's empty. Now we have nothing. If you'd like to buy Get a Limbo, a bottle, this was the shared bottle out of my personal stock, so I already ran through his other one for you guys. So if you'd like to submit a donation to buy him another bottle so we can keep doing this, because I cannot keep giving him out of my stock, because obviously I'm now running out of my own stock for my spirits, and that's going to be a problem for me too. So if you want to donate to him, paypal.me/SamTheSpiritist so we can get him right. So this is from Monica, Get a Limbo. Gracias, misericordia. Get her lucky numbers of the week. I'm going to throw back in. We have it in there. 1, 2, yeah, we have it in there. 7 lucky numbers for her. Clear these real quick for Monica. Get a Limbo. And clear these real quick. Gracias, misericordia, Get a Limbo. All right. But what are the lucky numbers this week for Monica the May? We're looking at the week for Monica the May. Alright, let's go. Alright. Monica. Your lucky numbers of the week are, let's see. This one was right there. Are going to be the number 40, number 5, the number 17, the number 3, the number 3 again, and this is a number 9. He's also making me see 393. He's also, I don't want to move this because of the way it is, but he kind of moved he kind of separated these numbers, so I'm going to look at them as groups. You see how he separated the dice? There's like a group of 3 here. There's this one, and then there's this group of 3. So the 40 and the 5, I'm seeing the number 45. He's saying pair those together. The number 45 is one of your bonus numbers. He's saying 393 and 339, 933 are bonus numbers, are angel numbers you need to look up. Okay. The number 17, also 1 plus 7 is 8, he's saying. He says the number 8 is also important for you. And then you have the 231, the 12 on there as well. He's making me see the 12 on this side. And the number 13 and the number 31. Okay. And the number 54 and the number 45, if I didn't say that. Also the number 405 and 540. So you got a bunch of bonus numbers. Some of these are angel numbers that I gave you. 540 in the morning, 5:40 in the afternoon, important time of day, 5:40. So maybe see 39. 39 is a number as well. Yeah. Something about 17. But you know what was weird? When I did move the tray, it moved on to the 7. So I feel like this 7 is important too. 177, 17, and the 7. So you also have the 7 as right below the 17. So 177 is also important too. 7/17, July 17th. That's what he's trying to say. Because he's like, there's another date. There's another date. July 17th is important for you, Monica. July 17th. Don't know what. Don't know why, but pay attention for July 17th regarding finances, jobs, opportunities, fiscal decisions. July 17th could be a very lucky day coming up for you. Okay, so those are your lucky numbers of the week. Right? All right, so if you'd like to do this with me next week, obviously it's more fun when more people are involved and I can keep going longer. I'll be doing these next week, and then starting in July, I'll start offering them as well. It won't be the same. It won't be all in one. There will be a separate sign up for if you want dice divination, like numerology and dice actual reads. Okay. So these are just lucky numbers, but there will be a separate listing for dice reads, and then possibly a combo listing if you want both of them. If you want lucky numbers of the week plus you want a dice reading, that'll be likely an option. He already told me he wants me to do it like that. That's what he really wanted me to do with this, was to be able to do dice readings in addition to lucky numbers. Okay. All right. Gracias, Mr. Guede Limbo. I got a little alcohol on his thing, on his new tray. He actually said I was supposed to put the alcohol on there to help enliven the tray with his energy. and awaken the Guede. This is typically what I do outside of magical work. Which makes sense why he had me drop some on there. Alright. So again, if you have any, if you want to join for next week, it's going to be at samthespiritist.com. Link will be in the description on this video. You can join for multiple weeks in advance for the lucky numbers right now. And then sometime, probably the beginning of July, or maybe I might make it available now. Like, if I can, not tonight. I'm not going to do it tonight. I'm too tired. But probably in the next week, you'll see the listing open up to begin scheduling for each week in July for dice readings, in addition to these lucky numbers. So they're separate listings, but there'll be an option there probably next week. So you can book it in advance. You have to sign up for these and at least an hour before. You have to submit your payment and your registration for these at least an hour before if you want your own personal lucky numbers, okay? Somebody asked me that, and I'm like, I have it up all week on my website. I've had it up for like 2 weeks already on the website, and you can book in advance for this, okay? I'm never gonna DM you them. If you miss it, you gotta watch the live, because I won't remember. I don't write them down, and I don't do DMs, so I'm not gonna send you an email. No, I'm not gonna email you. I'm not gonna text you. I'm not gonna DM you. You gotta pay attention and watch the replay if you miss your numbers on the live. If you can't watch the live, you gotta watch the replay, okay? Let me see. I feel like there's another message real quick. Let's see. And then he wanted me to give the collective. What on earth are you talking about? So, these cryptocurrencies. I don't feel like this is the deck. I don't feel like this is the deck. No, it's not the deck. This is usually the deck I've been using with some of the cemetery spirits, but this is not the deck he wants me to use. It's not the deck. Let me see. Maybe this one will help. So I gotta feel it out and see, because I have things kind of all over the place in here this week. I've had it over. I haven't been feeling well, so I haven't been able to tidy up my room. Let's see. Is this the deck you want me to use? Let me see if there's messages, if you want to sort through this one. I'm feeling his energy, but I'm also feeling a higher order. I might keep this one out real quick. I might use this because I work with different spirits, and I just flow between different divisions of spirits. In 21 divisions, our house it has the Archangel's division as well. So I feel Archangel energy wanting to come through. So let's see. Feel like higher order wants to bring a message. Keep saying higher order. Stepping forward. And they've never said it like that through me, higher order. So somebody mean business. Alright, so I can't show the bottom of this deck because it's not to be seen. At least I don't have permission to show the bottom half of this card. However, Archangel Kaliel, okay, is talking about justice is coming, and they're talking about in regards to, you know, this whole video is about the financial sector, money and luck. They're talking about justice coming. For people who have been feeling like things are unfair, justice is coming. I know they've been saying that. You got to understand, to them, what it feels like a long time to us is a blink for celestial bodies and for beings of a higher order. They live in different dimensions. They don't have the same like concept of time. Time's not linear for them. What seems like hundreds of years for us is like a flash for them. Okay, so things that we perceive as taking a long time aren't actually taking a long time. It's just we age and we feel the density and the gravity harshly on this planet. So it feels more exhausting and more draining, like it's taking a very long time. And there's also a lot of stress that is stealing energy from you, so it makes it feel even worse. But they're saying to just have patience, because in what you could do in the meantime is to do things that help neutralize negative energy or uplift your energy instead, so it doesn't feel like it's as long. Other things that you could do is like eating healthier, drinking things and eating things that are going to help you have a more alkaline body. A more alkaline body feels way less dense, heavy, inflamed than a acidic body. So they're talking about eating more alkaline food and drinking way more clean water, spring water, healthy forms of water. Living things will help to neutralize the effect of all the stress and all the things that are making this planet dense, or making things more negative or perceived to be negative. There's also a lot of EMFs, a lot of radiation, a lot of control mechanisms in place that cause the body cellular exhaustion and depletion. So you're going to feel exhausted, stressed, depressed. You're going to be more bothered by financial restrictions or limitations and stresses because of all these other things that you don't see necessarily that are affecting you and don't realize are affecting you. Wi-Fi. Turn off the Wi-Fi. I've been sleeping without Wi-Fi, with my Wi-Fi off for like the last 3 or 4 days. I've unplugged the Wi-Fi router completely, turned off the EMF, turned off the cellular on my phone. Nobody needs to contact me. I'm with the person that I need to contact. Like, nobody needs to contact me while I'm sleeping. All right. So I turned those off and I've been sleeping like a baby. It's the best sleep I've been having. My body is healing. Okay. And I was really feeling really awful until I turned those off. So you might want to try that. Try turning off the things that are depleting you energetically, especially if you live in an apartment building. These are things that's draining and pulling your energy all the time. Everybody else's Wi-Fi, everybody else's cell phones. If you live or you work in a place where there's tons of people with smartphones and a lot of different Wi-Fi and a lot of different, especially also phones being plugged in, the drain on smartphones emits a lot of radiation now that you don't realize it's doing, and even more than when it's on and you're on a call. And I'm so sensitive, I could feel it. It's awful. It makes I have muscular neuropathic issues because of working in a building that had hundreds, if not over 1,000 connected devices and probably like 50 different Wi-Fi routers. I got fried. I didn't know that's what was happening. That's what was happening. And my angels told me that's part of my issue that I've had to deal with, that was like a hidden enemy, is all the Wi-Fi routers. So a lot of us are working or transiting in cars, trains, planes, buses, now connected, and it's not even the Wi-Fi alone that's as bad. It's all of the cell phones around you connected to a tower that are what's hurting you. So that's draining you and you don't know what it is. Turn it off. Turn the feature off. Put it on airplane mode when you're not using it. It's a quick toggle of the button when you need it. That's all you should be like. It's one of the main things people should start doing. And probably like nobody else is going to tell you that. But that's what the archangels are saying. There's a lot of things that have been weaponized against you to drain your life force and to keep people enslaved and to keep people unable to achieve more financially for themselves, unable to rise and demand because they're so fucking tired. Rise and demand like our ancestors did before. Just not even World War II and World War I, 100 years ago. In the last 100 years, our DNA has been changing, our food has been changing, our exposure to toxins has been changing, our programming has been changing. Okay, Our ancestors, however, didn't have all this toxicity yet. They didn't have all of this bad food. They didn't have all of these distractions, these technologies that were dangerous to them, that were in such close proximity, draining their life force every day. So they weren't getting sick like we are as easily and as young as we are now. Okay, so purge the things that if it's something your ancestors didn't have and didn't do, think about restricting it. If they didn't eat certain foods, if they didn't eat all this processed food, think about restricting it or cutting it out. If they didn't eat or drink soda every single day with every meal, probably should restrict or completely get rid of it and eat and drink what they did have. And I'm talking about like within the last 100 years. The ancestors within the last 100 years and dearly departeds within the last 100 years. Like, look back. History teaches you. Okay? Look back and see what, like, if you're out of alignment with what they were doing, if they were thriving and they were able to not get disease and not get sick and not be so stressed, even though they didn't make as much money as people can make today, they made a fraction of it. But were they as stressed? Were they as sick? Were they as wiped out as we are now? No, most of them didn't get sick like this. I mean, they had some folks that were like literally poisoning themselves and putting like borax in their milk and stuff like that and boiling themselves alive in the Victorian era, but we seem to have gotten a little smarter since then. Boiling themselves in bathtubs. But let's look back and learn from the past. And what did they have? They had more energy. They lived off the land more. Their food was organic back then. They were eating, they were raising their own food, or hunting their own food, or growing their own food. Do more of that. Learn how to do that. Or find food from organic providers. And stop buying shit food that's making you sick. Because when the people are so sick, you're dependent then on the systems that these demonic forces have put in place. I can't say its name, but on the opposite of this card is a demonic entity that is responsible for making scandals. Okay? And there's scandals that are created to confuse people and to make decent people that are trying to do the right thing look bad and make awful, horrendous, evil people look great. And this is one of the biggest tricks that the devil and the dark forces do, is they make themselves look perfect, and even though they're awful, they make themselves look great. They make themselves look like the best option. They make themselves look charming and charismatic, and they can charm anybody and make anybody believe anything. And all they do is lie, but they have illusion spells. They have many tricks up their sleeve to make you fall for it. And that's what it's like they're telling you. And what they say like doesn't make sense to people who have awoken out of the slumber and woken up to this and can discern now, and who have tapped into their spiritual power, and especially people who have gotten cleansed. But there's a lot of people who have not and will not wake up, and who will continue to fall for the lies and keep themselves enslaved. But your ancestors, many of our ancestors, did something about stuff. When things got wrong, when they realized things were wrong, they rose up and they did stuff. And the reason why we don't see a lot of other countries' news, a lot of other countries know our news and think we're stupid, right? But they don't show us a lot of anything from outside the country or other people's news from other countries. Because if we knew it, if we saw it, if it was easily accessible to us, it would rattle a lot of people's, it would shake a lot of people's foundations. It would shatter a lot of people's illusions. It would seem crazy. And people would some people would start to go into psychosis, knowing the reality of how other people live, especially people that never travel outside this country before. when you realize other countries don't have the same restrictions, don't have the same problems, don't have the same chemicals in their food, it's banned in their countries, in the entire European Union. Like hundreds of, if not thousands of chemicals that are widely accepted and FDA approved here, and drugs that are FDA approved here, and drinks that are FDA approved, are completely banned in the entire European Union. And that's why their population is smarter, generally smarter, and sees through the bullshit that this country, most people in this country, fall for. That's why the justice is coming, but it requires the people to wake up and demand it, and to stand behind justice coming. So angels can do so much. They don't interfere with your free will. They can set everything up and set the blueprint, but there has to be a willing number of volunteers, people, actual humans, that are willing to do what is required on earth. So that means people who are willing to risk their lives, people who are willing to sacrifice, their livelihood and sacrifice their entire existence to stand up for the truth. And you have people doing that, and people are demonizing them, and people are calling them, terrorists, calling them, un-American, calling them traitors and this and that for standing up for a constitution. That's how brainwashed the society has gotten. It's how indoctrinated into it's basically literally defending the devil that people are now. And the crazy thing is they don't think they are. They think they stand for freedom. They think they stand for, they think that they stand for unity. They think that they stand for equality and everybody's freedom, and they don't. They actually are serving an agenda that is very dark and will get very, very ugly and really, really bad for this country and the world. Because we are a huge world power. We are the world's military power. So also the problem is regarding the justice system is the problem is now that one of the big problems is now in this country is that, and I wasn't even going to talk about this, I haven't been thinking about this, I was minding my own business, but allegedly I am being used. Okay, the justice system, obviously justice hardly gets served in a country that allows judges to be bribed and lawyers to be threatened, and even lawyers to be bribed, judges to be bribed, and then you have judges who don't accept the bribe and get unalived, and etc. Corruption on every level, down to the police officer that may arrest somebody. Obviously there's that problem, but there's an even bigger problem, and it is the military power of this country is not presently defending the people. And we are the largest military operation. We are the military power of the world. However, the military, majority of it, is infiltrated by individuals who are placed in higher positions. So the people on the bottom may not know, but the people that are giving the orders generally know, or somebody above them knows, and is operating off of a different agenda than what is best for the people. So understand that this country has an issue with the justice system and the military system. And there is a righting that will be happening, but the people need to rise. But when the people do rise, the people are going to see that the military is protecting the people, the powers that be, that are trying to take freedom away from the people and trying to divide the people. The military isn't actually protecting the people. The military sees the people standing up as a threat, as a means for lethal force, even though the people are just protesting and not even using weapons. And what I am being shown is the military defending the Capitol and the military defending pretty much all of DC, and the military defending political houses throughout the country, and the cops and the military, the police forces and the military attacking the people for standing up. And this is part of the problem, is that the military power already has, but is going to turn on the people. And so there's going to be a large justice, fight for justice coming that has to happen before financial liberation and all that can happen. And there already are a lot of people willing to do it. And you don't realize that there are people underground who are old school, who are former military, and who are actually truly patriots to this country, who are going to be demonized when they do this, when they attempt this. And there is an attempt by truly benevolent forces, very courageous people, that is coming. Very courageous people. And I haven't watched nothing. I haven't been watching, and I have been completely out of reading. Like 3 years ago, I was reading and listening to, trying to understand what was happening, with CV-19 and like the jab and all that stuff, and follow cabal, this and that. But I got off of watching that like 2.5 years ago because I couldn't handle it. Listening and waiting, learning new things and knowing what I know was going on, and then having to wait for changes, for people to wake up and be willing to believe and realize that these things are really going on. There's a demon of slander and deceit that is controlling media, controlling all these things that come out, especially during election time, and it's been going on for ages. But especially now, as we have more technology and more manipulation tools available, and better graphics and better AI, know that there's going to be a lot of things. And it's becoming more and more obvious for a reason, because that is also the agenda of the light side, is to make the demons think they've won. And the demons think that we're so stupid, they don't realize so many people are waking up, and they think that it's like two things going on at once. It's like the demons are so, and the people that they control are so full of ego, and so like narcissistic, that they believe that we're too stupid to wake up and to have our own thoughts and to discern, because they don't believe that we have the ability to hear. They think that most of people, they've done such a good job. They think that they have done such a great job at wiping people's memories, at mind control, at making people believe that their spiritual practices are demonic, at outlawing psychics and witches and putting people in a fear state, putting out so many articles and stuff over the years, and media gags on chiropractors and naturopathic healers, and they think they've done such a great job at disconnecting people from their intuition and their spirituality, that now they're delusional, because at the end of the day, you still have your spirit guides. Whether you believe they're there or not, they're still with you. Whether you are still deeply ingrained in programming or not, your spirit guides, your benevolent ancestors, your archangels, they still exist and they're still there. So once you are finally at that phase of clearing the bullshit and ready to open your mind and expand your consciousness, once you've heard enough bullshit and been fucked over enough, and you start to look for other help beyond what you know and what you're used to, that gives them that gives permission, essentially. When you pray, especially, you give permission for them to make their presence more known, and then it's easier for them to connect with you. So A lot of people have been praying. So what the demons didn't realize is when they put some people in so much fear, they still prayed. A lot of them didn't know what else to do except pray, because they remembered their grandmothers and their parents or their great grandparents, or they remembered going to church, they remembered seeing mass on TV or whatever it was, and they went to that. And that gave permission to benevolent forces. And gave permission for the benevolent forces to enter in back into people's lives more, because people consciously accepted, well, maybe subconsciously accepted negative programming and therefore put up a boundary. But when you pray for help and you pray to God, what does God do? God sends and assigns angels, and then angels may assign different spirit guides. If they're not able to come directly, they may assign different spirit guides to come in and help. And that is what opens the way for somebody who may have been completely cut off and completely, even like atheists who denounce it and stuff like that. When things get shitty enough and they got nothing else, I've seen people who claim to be atheists. And you know what's crazy? Is when I was really young, I had said that I was atheist like a couple of times, because I was like, well, I don't really believe in anything. And then guess what? My life got shitty enough at one point. And then I started praying. I remember my grandma praying, and I didn't have prayers particularly. I just prayed to God in general. I didn't know what God in particular, but somebody answered, and I started seeing Archangel Michael, and I started working with. He was the first one that I started working with. And then from there, the door opened to benevolent ancestors, to other misterios, and all that. So when you pray and you lean on faith and you realize there's a higher order that is responsible and able to assist us. Excuse me, I'm fucking tired. You give permission. You give your free will. You utilize your free will to ask for assistance from the divine. And that opens the way and gives them permission. That's awesome. That's such a good story, Ashley. Oh. Yeah. There you go. And when you bless somebody else, you bless yourself. It's not your responsibility what they do with the money. Like, you know, I used to have a problem when I gave the homeless money. I would feel like, well, I don't want, them to spend it on drugs. I'd rather buy them food. And sometimes I blocked my own blessings by doing that, because I was prejudging, which is not my place to judge. So I learned I had to not do that, because I was creating blockages for myself. Because it's not your place to judge, and it's not anybody's place to judge. Only God can judge. So, and also, whatever they choose to do with it is their karma, not yours. Your karma gets cleared by giving it to somebody that you believe is in need, because it's a act of love. Somebody you don't know in particular, that you haven't had an experience with. It's given like on a, what do you call that? I'm trying to think of the word. Like, I can't remember things lately because of the mold that I've had in my system. Act like a faith, like an act of faith. Or on good faith, that's a phrase. Like, on good faith that they're gonna do, something good with it, not something not good. But it's different though from when you give money to somebody that you've had experiences with, where they have shown you who they are, but you continue to give it to them instead of, or you continue to let them take advantage of you when you know that they're doing things that you don't approve of, or that are illegal, and then you tie your karma with them because you knew it's different. But and but like one year I think it was like last year. I don't know if it was last year. This year has been so long and draining. I think it was last. I don't know if it was Thanksgiving. I don't think it was last. It might have been the year before. I think it would have had to have been the year before. Thanksgiving, 2 Thanksgivings ago. We made sandwiches. You know, I don't know what they were. They were like turkey and cheese. And we made a whole bunch. I think we made like 100. My family and I. And we went out to St. Augustine and we gave them out because it's a huge area full of homeless people all over the place. And we're like, let's do something, for all the homeless people here today. Because we usually give money, but let's just go around and, on Thanksgiving, nobody should be hungry. So we made a whole bunch, and we were walking around with a cart all over the middle section of town. And, what was so weird is like, I like doing it, and I want to do it again when I'm feeling better. I like doing it. I got offended though when a group that we know, like we've known of them, but we didn't quite know. Like we're still trying to kind of figure it out. We don't quite know what their whole spiel is, but like generally, like we'll see different members of the group, walking around town or sitting around town. And then, on Thanksgiving, they were all sitting together in the park. So we went up and we gave, offered sandwiches, and they all took one. And then like nobody but like one person ate it. They like left it there in the bag on the ground. I'm just like, y'all could have said no, it would have been fine. But like, I'm just like, don't waste the sandwiches. Like, you don't want it, it's fine. Not poisoning you. You've seen me give you money. Like, like I've given you money like a bunch of times. Like, but they were kind of, I don't know if they were like offended or they just wanted money. I don't know. But then like I got in my feelings about it because I was like, bro, like other people could have eaten those sandwiches, but now those other people, you see them sitting on the ground and you've already, touched it and stuff. They probably don't want it. But so that kind of like ticked me off that they wasted it more than anything. Not that they weren't like really grateful for it, because a bunch of them were kind of in their feelings, but there were way more other people. I tried to overlook that because there was way more other people who were appreciative of the sandwiches that I had not even met before or given money to before. That were completely new faces, biking through, and you could tell, or walking through, because I guess they take a bus from Jacksonville or maybe from Daytona or wherever, and they wind up in St. Augustine. I don't know how they get there, but like there's a pretty large population of them that are there, sadly. So I like to we try to give to them when we can, whenever we're in there. But you never know, like so tired. Excuse me. There was what did I see do it the other day? There was this guy standing, I think it was outside the Wawa. And we didn't have any cash because we weren't carrying any cash yet. And I said, oh, I hope somebody can give him some cash, because we were leaving, and then I noticed him there. And then I saw, like within a minute of me saying that, as I was backing out, I saw one of the kids that had walked in. He was waiting. He was outside, and I guess he was asking people for food or for money or something. And I saw one of the kids, young kids, actually came out and gave him like a bottle of water and bought him a sandwich and all this stuff. And so many people had walked by him. He was on the back door. We didn't go through that door, but like I noticed him on the way out. And it was like within a minute of me praying for somebody to give him something, somebody gave him something. And I was like, okay, because I felt bad because we were already leaving and we had somewhere to go. Otherwise I would have stopped and gone back in, but we were already late because we've been busy this week. But God answered the prayer, and more people need to Pray. Ooh, tired. Sorry. More people need to pray, because back to the justice thing, when you fall for the slander and the gossip and the lies and the drama, you give approval, you give permission for it, because you also have to realize on a matrix level, there's this thing called entertainment law, and all media is protected by entertainment law, pretty much. So all the quote unquote mainstream media, they don't have to tell you the truth. They can insinuate and speculate and say pretty much anything about somebody. They can slander somebody, and it's covered under entertainment law. So it doesn't have to be true. And this is one of the things that made me, whoa. Like, and I learned this, and my spirit guides were trying to make me learn this years ago when I was in radio. But I was pursuing, I've told this before, I was pursuing going into news, television, and learning TV, like in the moment TV, and I realized it was not at all real. Like, there was none of that. It's a facade, is essentially what I learned. And I learned it within a day of being there. And I couldn't do it. I couldn't do inauthentic. I could not do it. I could not do inauthenticity. It made me sick. Sure, there's techs running cameras. There's, all this audiovisual equipment. There's people in the studio, but they're not doing their own research. They're not even verifying and asking questions about what scripts were being handed to the news anchors. The news anchors were just reading, and they're taught. They go to school for this, to learn how to speak and speak like an anchor, and to read scripts. But when you realize they're all reading the same script, passed down from corporate, and just printed out by a junior or an intern in an office down the hall. It's not actual research. It's not actual journalism. It's rare. Mainstream media is not actual journalism. And I know because I actually did a couple of classes at the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism in Arizona State. And so I know what real journalism looked like, because some of my friends were going to school for journalism, and actually in the journalism program, I took an elective for radio, and like one other, maybe I took like a journalism, like some sort of journalism related like writing course. I think I had to write. I know I wrote some stuff. I don't know what the course was called. It was like an elective, but I did take a radio course, like an elective, in the studio, but there were some people that I knew and went to school with that were actually like juniors, like actual junior editors, as well as literally practicing to become anchors. And they were anchors for on campus for ASU's, I don't remember what it was called, ASU News, ASU, I don't know what it was called. The news station on campus, ASU like news, Arizona State University news, whatever that was. They were anchors for that, and they were they would go around and cover. There was a girl that covered all the sports games, I remember that, and a guy, but they were really into sports news, and that was what I thought I would go into, if anything, but I ended up not going that direction because I didn't find it as exciting as I thought it would be. I didn't have the news. I didn't want to be dressed up on camera to do it. That wasn't me. I had too much social anxiety. But I like the techie side, all the behind the scenes stuff, the editing. That was me. So that's what I did. I did the music school editing, and I did radio. I was a voice on radio, but I just was not a camera person. People need to realize, this is so funny, I'm talking about this, there's a lot of immorality. Yeah, I did radio for like, from 2008 to 2013, between school, I was on Sunday mornings at school from like 7 to 11. And it was an alternative station. And then I did from 7 to 11 on Sundays. And then that was it. I would just go home, usually. And then I did WSPK K1047 Poughkeepsie. So I did the Hudson Valley Hit Music Station K104. And well, in between those two, I did intern for CBS Radio Phoenix. And I did, but I did marketing and promotions and events with them. But I got in the studio, and the midday host, Jackie, at the time, she taught me how to run boards for 105 Jams, which was KZON Phoenix. So that's the call sign, KZON Phoenix. Yeah. Oh, I know. I love Delilah. I actually worked in the studio. So the funny thing is, I never met Delilah, but she originated in the Hudson Valley. She had first been in the Hudson Valley, and so the studio that she used to record out was my studio at Pamel Broadcasting. And then I believe she moved, and then, but I thought she was still in studio. That was the thing, and she was always on. So, and she recorded out of our studio, and then she became remote. And then she started sending them and playing all over the country. Yeah, Delilah, love someone tonight. Monica, I already did I don't know if you saw it, but I did your lucky numbers earlier. Where did it go? Is this the card? Yes, this is the card. So, but there's a lot of immorality in media overall, because it doesn't have to be true, because it's covered under entertainment law. So, everybody thinks that just like Entertainment Tonight and like, E! News, whatever, and those types of shows were the ones that were like scripted and made up. No, your news station is scripted and made up. And I saw this firsthand. So, and I left literally the same day. I didn't even spend a whole day at ABC News Norfolk. Oh, okay. Thank you. Appreciate you. I wasn't talking that you needed to send him, because you already sent him stuff. But anybody else that wants to send Guede Limbo a tip for his collective offerings, that would be really greatly appreciated. Besides just Monica, because Monica be donating on behalf of everybody, for everybody else, honestly. She can't be the only one up in here. So, what was I saying? So ABC News Norfolk was where I went for literally a day. And then when I turned around, I was like, no, I don't want to do this. I'm going to thank you for the opportunity. I literally said to the guy, I forget what his name was. I remember his face a bit. He was a skinny thing, and probably in his late 50s. And gray hair, and he was showing me around, and he was like having me watch this girl who was running. So there was 4 or 5 cameras in like an arc in front of the stage where the journalists were, quote unquote anchors were sitting. There was like a male and a female anchor all dressed up, whatever, sitting behind the desk, and there would be a runner from the hall like office where there was all the computers and a bunch of like quote unquote junior editors or whatever sitting there, and they were all fucking around in that office. They weren't really doing much. They were just reading emails and scrolling internet articles, and then putting stuff on paper, and then printing it out and running it to the anchors. And what I noticed was the anchor like looked it over, but none of them asked questions. None of them did like ask questions or verified anything. And I was just like, this doesn't feel real. And none of them were actually on like calls, doing live calls. It was all like pre-recorded with anybody who was quote unquote out in the street, any journalists that were out there. So it wasn't like any of that, what you perceive to be happening isn't actually happening. It was like pre-recorded hours ago, And I also kind of lost that interest in radio because of that too. Because although it wasn't as bad, because with TV you need a lot more time because it's visual. Johnny Walker. Johnny Walker, I believe, is more Candelos. He likes Fireball. He likes Fireball whiskey. Johnny Walker, I believe, Black Label Johnny Walker is the one we get Candelo. He likes Fireball. I mean, you can offer him whatever. He'll take whatever as an offering, you know, in the moment for you. Yeah, you could offer him that for now. But generally, he's offered like Fireball and rum, spiced rums. So, but yeah, I couldn't do it. So I couldn't do the inauthenticity. And this card, I can't show the name or the face of this negative entity, but it represents immorality. The opposite of this angel, there's a negative entity down here I'm not going to show, but it represents immorality. And that's what's happening in news media. And that's what's happening in politics. That's what's happening in, you know, your all these influencers who are just posting for, you know, I'm not going to say the name of the company, but they basically pay, you know, they get paid to promote stuff, whether it's true or not. They get a paycheck, you know, tens of thousands or 100,000 plus. I know influencers that are paid hundreds of thousands, if not $500,000 or more, to promote a brand new product. And I know the people who, I know, for instance, this just happened. And I think it's like, I'm not going to say the company because I am a student of one of the people who's tied to the company. But overall, like, I don't feel like they chose the right person to promote their product. But they are promoting to, you know, their demographic is a lot of people who are eating bad, feeling bad, you know, low vibrational. They have a purpose. My archangels told me, like, and my Loa told me, like, no, like, don't get, like, you know, in your feelings about who they chose to promote and the fact that this person is, like, telling a lie in order to sell this, because it's a good product. It's a hydration. It's a natural juice. And, like, they use it like Kai, I don't know how you say his last name, like Kai Kanat or Kai Sanat or whatever. They got on his show, like, last week to promote it. But the way that the people on that show promote it is just, like, awful. But you have to realize, what my spirit guides made me realize is that they have a huge audience of people that are, like, low vibrational and like drama and that. So you have to go where they're at to get their attention. And then this product helps them to feel better, to get cleansed internally. So it's actually like a trick of the angels. They're, like, hijacking the, you know, this, like, dramatic show of just like a senseless show. It's just like, if you've ever seen that show, the Kai, whatever, I don't know how to say his last name. It's like a stupid show. It's just like, you know, not really any value there. It's just like entertainment for people who, like, I don't know why they watch it, but they watch it. And anyway, this product that my friends, one of my mentors and friends, you know, is associated with, and they got, you know, they obviously paid him a big sum of money to promote it and have it placed in his show, and they had a whole segment on, you know, on it. But it's already, you know, obviously doing really well in sales and stuff from just that show. And then they got another huge influencer. I think his name is like Bandman Kev or something. I had never heard of him, but allegedly he's something to do with the music industry and a whole lot of other things to do with money and stuff, and credit and all this and that. And so, but, like, he basically announced, like, a few days ago that he's recuperating from getting a BBL and leg extensions. And I was like, wait, what? What man is telling people that they got a BBL, first of all? Like, I've seen a man with a BBL, and I was like, whoa, like, I know we're getting off topic here. But, like, he got paid, obviously, to say, like, while he was recovering from, you know, BBL surgery, he had to drink this, you know, drink for like the next 3 months to heal, right? And that's that product. I'm not gonna say the company's name, but that product is, you know, the product is associated with my mentor, right, and friend. And so they, you know, Bam Kev got paid a whole bunch to promote it, right? So I'm just like, it doesn't have to be true, because the truth isn't that he got all that done. The truth, I mean, at the end of the day, he's an entertainer. He's an artist, and it falls under entertainment. And it's not all what he said isn't true, but it is product placement. So he got paid a lot to to market it. And in marketing, it doesn't have to be true. Like everything about everything doesn't have to be true. Like, and he didn't make any claims about the product, so therefore there's no problem with it. It's just he's just saying that he's recovering and he has to drink it. He didn't say if you drink this, you're gonna heal better. He didn't say you have to drink it, all this stuff. Like he didn't say that. No worries. He didn't make any claims about the product. You know what I'm saying? It was just he got paid basically to mention it and put it into something where it seemed like it was just a story he was telling about his, BBL surgery that day or whatever, his leg extension surgery. I don't know, but at first I was like a little, like, that's how I was like definitely turned off at the choice of who they chose and how they chose to market it. But my spirit guides was like, no, like, understand that there's an audience of people who really are that like stuck in the third dimension, that look up to these people and that listen to them, and who need like a story or some gossip and drama to get their attention. So that's what he's doing, and it's genius. Don't worry about it. Like he didn't have what he said he got, but it's just product placement, and there's a lot of people who that product is actually going to help. So like we're okay with it. Like, don't worry about it. I was like, all right, like, to me, it's like not my taste of type of marketing, but to each their own. But just the whole thing is the entertainment law, entertainment law, the copy or the words don't have to be true. And that's what kind of turned me off from it. Radio was also that way in a sense, but a little bit better. And at least with radio, there wasn't as many shenanigans and bells and whistles of editing and this and that. There was obviously editing we could do, but radio is more live in the moment in the studio, as far as breaks, talk breaks, marketing, doing ads. Everything for me, at least at my station, was not pre-recorded for anything that I was doing. Now, the guy who was ahead of me, it was all pre-recorded. And I didn't know that. I thought he was in the studio because it sounded like he's in the studio. So I go upstairs thinking he's in the studio for the one show. And the guy who was there as a segue, like a little bit earlier than him, there was like a dance party before I came on, Saturday night or something, dance party for a little while. No, I had to play that after I left, I think. No, that was before I got on, and I had to play it sometimes. I can't remember. All I remember is I remember when Michael Bennett, who was on every night, and he was like the night show. He was the night show, and Michael Bennett taught me that Scotty Mac's show was all pre-recorded, and Scotty Mac would just record it at home and send it in. And Scotty Mac didn't even live in the Hudson Valley. I don't even know where he lived. I don't remember what he said. He didn't live there. So it was all sent in, and then I'd have to press play on it for his whatever dance party. And then there was like a section where there was a break, and ads would, it would be like music. He'd have it all pre-recorded, like all selected and pre-recorded. And then I'd have to play his like talk breaks. When he played an ad, a recorded ad, it was like inserted in the software program. So like I could see all the different songs, whatever that were programmed for his show. And then like there was talk breaks that were inserted, and I had to make sure they like played. And then after that was over, I had to sit through that. Sometimes I fell asleep because like nobody's there. There was like no live interaction. It was overnight. I would fucking fall asleep sometimes, which was hard because I was working earlier in the day. So like I kept falling asleep, but luckily the computer always continued to play something. But most of it was, just watching the software, making sure, because it had all, like I couldn't change any of the songs. It was not allowed because they have a certain rotation. They have certain, companies and artists or labels that pay, whatever, to have the song rotated a whole bunch of times, more than others. And so I couldn't change the songs, I couldn't pick the songs. And, you know, like there wasn't much I could do except when there was a talk break, like they had given me a little schedule of like a little script I had to run, you know, that day for, like maybe it was like, I know there was this place called Billy Joe Rib Works on the riverfront in Newburgh, and like I would always get ads. I'd have to do talk break ads for those, so I would do those live, and I would do a whole bunch of other things live, like for any ads they gave me, car washes, like events that we were doing. All those were live talk breaks, and then my regular music lineup talks were like what song I was playing next or whatever, or what song was coming up in the next hour. Those were all live. But there were some people whose shows were completely recorded. Like I know Delilah's show, it was completely recorded. I had no clue that she wasn't in studio until I started working there. Like she used to be in the studio next door. And then overnight, they have it all recorded. They don't have like any overnight anchors, so they had anchors that would record from like Connecticut and wherever else, and they would play them overnight on like 100.7 WPDH. That was the one I think Delilah used to be on. No. WHUD, 100.7 WHUD. That's where she used to be. And yeah, that's where she used to be. And that was the studio next door. So I was like, but none of it has to be real. So like it's covered under entertainment law, you know. But at least with radio, much more was real. Unless you get into gossip and hip hop and stuff like that, that's more entertainment radio, more like, I forget what the genre is that they consider talk radio. That doesn't have to be real, like at all. It's a lot of it's all bullshit for ratings and listeners, marketing, to get dollars from advertisers at the end of the day. And I also was going into ad sales for radios. I tried to go into ad sales for radio. I was interviewed and I was almost hired, but they said I was actually way better for marketing, but they had just hired the marketing person. And I was going in for radio sales. This is why I didn't go into that division of radio and stayed away and kind of left it, because I didn't like how inauthentic it was as well. I mean, the whole world revolves around money, but there's a lot of immoral stuff that I don't agree with. You know, I'm talking about all this because this is coming out, the immorality. And I just have story times forever. So I just like to give examples of stuff that I've witnessed that are just like facades and not true in the world. And I was being interviewed. I forget the name of the station. It was in Virginia Beach. I literally was told that I was given an offer, and I accepted the offer. And I was told, great, the only thing we need is when you come in to meet with so-and-so and get acquainted with the station, and he'll take you on a tour. And then just, we're going to test to see what, I was already given an offer, accepted the offer, and I moved to Virginia Beach based on the offer. And I was given like a distance tests, and I passed them all, and they literally gave me an offer, and I accepted it from a distance. And I moved there. When I got there, I was supposed to be going in to meet with the president of the company, and to like have an orientation and to figure out what he was going to ask me just a couple more questions to figure out what, like, I forget what they call it, like section of advertising he felt that I would be good for, because all they had to do was pick my section, but he wanted to ask me questions in person. And I was like, okay, great. So I had the job in writing. I was expecting to start and actually be paid. And then when I got there, all the questions he asked me, he wanted me for marketing, and he asked me, one of the questions he asked me was like, so what would you do if Sally and you were in a competition in your sales department for making a certain contract and getting a certain amount of quota, reaching a certain quota, so that you can get your brand new convertible, or I forget what car it was, but it was a convertible. And he was like, are you willing to run Sally over in order to get it, in order to meet your quota? And I was like, huh? I remember sitting there looking at him, and I was so naive, and I was just like, I'm sorry, come again? And then in my head, I was like, immorality. And I was like, I need this job. I need this job. I need this job. I need this job. I just moved here. I need this job. Just go with it. But I was fighting with myself. Like, at first I was like, no, because that would be inauthentic to me. But I was arguing with myself, like, you need this job. Just say yes. And I was like arguing with it. So I was like, yeah, I'd be absolutely fine with running Sally over. In fact, I'll run her over and go back over her again to get meet my quota. And I said that, and it was like one of the worst things I could have said. I was just so upset with myself. I felt so bad for saying it, because I definitely wouldn't be like that. But I needed the job so bad, and it would have been like the highest paying job. But luckily, I reversed and like ended up, he was like, are you sure? I'm like, yes. Oh yeah, I'm sure. And he was like, okay, great. And then he asked me like some other things, and then he ended up saying something else. He just wanted to make sure that I was really okay with doing it. He really wanted me for the job. He thought I would have been great at marketing, even greater at marketing, but he had just hired somebody. But the job was mine if I really wanted the job, and was okay with running over Sally. And I was like, okay, great. And then he was like, but I want you to just think about it tonight and get back to me. And when he said that, it was like the angel part of me was like, look, now you have a chance to turn it down. And think about it and turn it down and write it. And I was like, oh, but he's going to give me the job. And they're like, but do you really want to run her over? Are you willing to sacrifice like your morality for money and do something that's not in alignment with you? And that is going to probably accrue you some bad karma, like, for it? And I was like a really goody two shoes. So no, of course not. So I struggled with it. And the next day I turned it down, and I told him it was, out of alignment with me. I don't remember what I said, but I remember being so nervous, like emailing it back. I just couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. I was not willing to run her over for a new vehicle. And they wanted like that type of cutthroat sales competition. And that just was like not it for me. I was not that type. So there's a lot of that goes on in radio, TV, all ad sales. It's crazy. You never think that's what's going on in a radio station, but it is. And this is probably the angel that was on the other side trying to get me to not accept it and to do what I felt was authentic to me. And it'll never, Iliel, Archangel Iliel, no. Love and wisdom to do things that are authentic to you from the heart. And that's where I have, that's where a lot of us are not doing things that we love, and we're doing things that we might not agree with because of money. And this angels, back to the whole point of me pulling these cards, the angels are talking about the justice coming, where you don't have to choose one or the other anymore, where you could just do what you love and what resonates with you authentically and enjoy being rewarded for operating out of your heart and doing what is true to you, not having to sacrifice what you love. But understand that there's going to be, in order to take that system down, there's going to be people that have to step up. And there are underground, there's people that are going to be stepping up. And there already are people stepping up, and we just don't hear about it. It's quiet. But there are people, there are good forces that are stepping up. But just understand there's going to be a lot more that has to happen that you're going to hear about. This whole Diddy, and the drama with Diddy is, yes, it's true, but it's a distraction from a larger ring. He's just one of the fall guy faces for it all. There's thousands of others in the entertainment industry, in politics, in government overall, in private corporations, you know, all sorts of private corporations and nonprofits. A lot of the nonprofits are no good. A lot of the nonprofits are money laundering and actually literally, like, this is why I have a problem with a lot of nonprofits and I don't give money to a lot of them, because a lot of them are the predator. Not all of them, a lot of them though. Whether the whole thing is a front or someone on the inside is crooked and everybody else doesn't know, but somebody on the inside is crooked and associated with a lot of people, they exploit the opportunity to have access to women, children, you know, and to the money to support not the women and children in need, but getting more women and children to traffic or to whatever they're doing with them. Like, it's, you know, I did this, I had supported this nonprofit once and I didn't feel quite right about it. The guy who was out there in the table seemed nice, and the lady too, and they had pictures of like going and building houses and feeding and stuff, and they had pictures of all the kids that was allegedly helping, but something like didn't feel right about it. And there's a lot of like staging, like, oh look, we built like this house, but like, yeah, how many houses overall did you actually finish building? Because if, you know, you're anything like Hillary Clinton, who says she built like all these houses, the Clintons say they built like all these houses in Haiti with, but they've made all these billions of dollars, well, or millions of dollars, you know, the Clinton Foundation. How come Haiti like isn't restored and like everybody's not living great in Haiti with all that money? You could have built way more houses, homie. Like, where's the money going? Clintons, where's the money going? And Clinton's friends, the money's obviously not going to Haiti, like, and to the people of Haiti. Maybe it's going to corrupt politicians. I mean, they did kill, I believe they killed the president recently in recent years, because I believe it was Haiti. I could be wrong. I know they killed one in Africa for refusing the jab, and not allowing his people to get jabbed because they didn't need it because they had natural medicine. But like, where's the houses? Like, homie, where's all the, you know, there should be mansions, you know, or at least everybody should have, you know, a basic ass American house in Haiti with all that money. And not sleeping in shacks in the dirt, you know, eating cow pies and stuff anymore. Like, nobody has to be eating cow pies. You know, they should be eating well, living large, with all the billions and millions of dollars that all these like philanthropists and quote unquote philanthropists and politicians that are funneling money. You know what I'm saying? Like, and like, where's the house? Like, some of these foundations I just don't trust. It's like, yeah, they got a few pictures with some kids, some poor looking kids from all these different countries, and they might have like one house that they show you a picture of, but like, let me see more. Like, I need more than that to want to give your foundation money. Yes, I have sob stories. Yes, I have empathy. Yes, I have a heart for children and people in need, but I just don't trust the front men. Like, I just don't trust, you know, the people running the operation. Because a lot of the time, you know, do you remember when they had that whole event raising money for Haiti? Like, I think, who was it? Was it T-Pain? No. Was it somebody? I thought it was T-Pain, or like, it was like in 2010 or something, 2010 or 9, when they got hit by a storm really bad. Earthquake or a storm, I don't remember. And they had the like raising money, and they had like all the musicians there listening for the phone line, call in and support Haiti. And back then you could start texting to, like, we could text in donations, I think, and they would send you a link back when the first smartphone came out. And I think Usher was in it, and like everybody was like, you know, it was a TV special, you know, raising money for Haiti, supporting Haiti. And I'm just like, back then I was like, I didn't feel right with it. I think I gave a couple bucks. I just didn't feel right with it. I'm like, with all these celebrities who got all their monies and all their friends and connections, why are they coming to us? When they got all these government connections, all these celebrity connections, and all this disposable income, why are they coming to us? And they're getting paid by the big missing like invisible pieces here is that people, corporations, paid them 6 figures or more to get on TV, each of them, to pretend to care and to tell all of us watching to pay, to send a donation to support Haiti. But homie, all that hundreds of thousands of millions of dollars you were paid just to say that to us on TV and hold the event could have gone to Haiti. So like that started, like I started thinking like that, but I just didn't think deep into it. Like I just like, that doesn't make sense. Like, why are they on TV like asking us for money? Aren't they rich? Like, but I didn't realize how rich, and like I didn't think about all the money in between. And like the bigger picture of like, why are they doing this? Why? To collect money from you and to tell you this story and paint a picture of a good picture where you think that you're doing good, because technically they did give a little bit. So they gave you a little truth and you believed it. So you gave permission for them to do whatever else they wanted to with the money, because they didn't tell you like all of it was going to Haiti. They just said support Haiti. You know what I'm saying? Like, they just said support. They didn't say like we're sending it all. They just said we just need to raise money for Haiti. But Haiti don't look like it got much money from whatever they did. So that's why I don't support those things really anymore. I'm very cautious about what I give my money to, because I'm not going to be putting my money knowingly now into things that are child trafficking and human trafficking. My friend was human trafficked. After that happened and like we lost her, yeah, I'm very conscious about it. And I've seen people literally in broad daylight in Jacksonville get kidnapped. Like, I know trafficking is real. I've seen it. I didn't know how crazy bold these people are. Like, they do it in broad daylight. Like, they don't care. So, and like I have also other people that I know personally who are in government who have been to Haiti, and I know stuff that's going on there. But I can't talk about specifics, but I know stuff that was going on there. And children that were being rescued from that situation, trafficking. I know it's real because I know somebody who was sent there to help rescue children. So I know this stuff is real. But here's the problem is there's a demon of ignorance. There's a demon that they conjure to keep you ignorant, to keep people under the influence of this demonic entity, and keep the masses ignorant and believing that this is not real. And I know somebody in government that was taken out of their regular post and placed in Haiti for many months, specifically for that, for recuperating children, missing children. Okay. So, and that's just one place. That's just one. And that's just one person of many who were placed in different places. He was placed in multiple people were sent, but he was like one of the top and only ones of his branch in this state that he lived in to go, because he was only one of the very few that could be trusted to do it, who wasn't corrupt. That's how deep, that's how I know stuff. In addition to what my spirit guys tell me, I know people that spirit has brought through, you know what I'm saying, that I've crossed paths with, because the mysteries know who is gonna be, who they're gonna use. So I'm telling you, there's people who are being used to stop this stuff, but there's not as many that can be trusted, who can't be bribed or feared, who have the balls to do it, and who also can't be bribed, and who can't be corrupted if they got involved. It's easy to get corrupted, like money from other countries can easily corrupt somebody who isn't getting paid a lot in the military. You know what I'm saying? Like, so they need to make sure the people that they're choosing are not going to be corrupt and take bribes and allow this stuff to continue. Because that's a lot of what has happened. For money, humans allow, for money for themselves, for self-gain, for selfish reasons, they allow these bad things to happen. They look the other way all the time, even in the military. That's why I'm telling you, the military is not all for the people. There's tons of people who, even in lower ranking levels and in other areas of government, who take bribes, who are corrupt, easily corrupted, who take bribes from the other side, from our enemies. Okay? And that's the problem. So that's why it takes so long, because so many humans are easily corruptible. So Spirit is constantly always trying to find genuine, trustworthy people to act out what needs to be acted out. That's why this process takes so long. It's because so many are easily corruptible by, again, the demon of ignorance, looking the other way. Not, and the masses not believing that what's happening is actually happening, because it's not all over the news. What type of demon is gonna put on the news? Oh, military or government officials taking bribes, and allowing trafficking to happen. Who's gonna put that on the news and tell everybody? Nobody. Come on. Of course not. Who's gonna put on the news, child, what do they call it? Like, orphanage, or like child, fundraising for like children, like, I don't know what you call them, fundraisers and organizations. Who's going to put on the news that, like, all these big name fundraising organizations, nonprofits, a lot of them, who's going to put on the news that, a whole bunch of them are money laundering fronts for, pedophiles and for, all these different corrupt, sick people who want to traffic children? Who's going to do that? No, they're not going to do that. But it's happening. It doesn't mean it's not happening. Nanael, spiritual communication. Those who are in communication with spirit know that this stuff is real. Well, majority of them are realizing it is real. And those who are in spiritual communication but don't have a protected head, or a clean energy and a protected head, that don't believe that this is happening, they're gonna find out, and the truth is gonna be hitting them hard, and then they're gonna have to admit that they were obviously not as clear and connected with the higher divisions of spirits, that they were connected with something lower and listening to something that was tricking them. Stuff is going on all the time, day and night. And there's a demon that protects criminals. Not going to say its name, but they're utilizing this demonic entity. There's a demon that protects criminals. And that's what they use This is who they use, one of the beings that they use to make it so that they don't get caught, that if they do get caught, they get out of it. And this is why your prayers as individuals, as a collective, are very important. And you need to be praying to the archangels and the Loav, the mysteries of light, God and Goddess of light, because there's gods and goddesses of demonic energy as well. So know who you're praying to, but it's important for all of us to pray for this change, pray for people to not be corrupt, to pray for people to be trustworthy, be more trustworthy, be more heart-centered. The actual important things, not necessarily what you don't want people to do. You pray for what you want them to be. More heart-centered, more sincere, more genuine, more empathetic. These are the things that need to be prayed for the collective, so that people are brought back to the energy of heart-centeredness, authenticity, trustworthiness, the energy of the energy of being more protective and more truly patriotic as well. We need more of that. People who are more bold and courageous instead of passive. These are the things that need prayer to influence the masses, because there's demons that are being conjured and worked and invoked to protect all of these criminals. Okay? And people need inner and outer work. A lot of inner and outer work, and we need to pray for the collective. Manandel, we need to pray for the collective, for their inner and outer work to happen. Because a lot of people are not doing their inner and outer work. They're just so lost and stressed and oppressed by this demonic oppression energy and this mind control and all these spells that they cast. They are all being casted all the time. Especially when you watch news, when you watch TV, you gotta be careful what you're watching, because there's tones and things that are being said that are being, when you listen to them and you repeat them, especially when you repeat them, you cast spells on yourself. When you believe them and when you repeat them, you cast these spells on yourself. They don't even have to necessarily cast them on you, you cast them on yourself, because you're listening and then you repeat it. You listen to something long enough, you start to believe it, and then you repeat it. So all you have to do is put it out there, the option for you to listen to it out there. And your curiosity is piqued and you consume it, you give them permission to tamper with your programming, and then eventually you listen to that programming enough, you believe it to some extent, or you repeat it, and thus you cast on yourself more limiting things, more negative things. Lots of stuff. I don't know. I just felt like I needed to pull these cards tonight. These are the demons, these oppressive demons that are controlling a lot of the masses. Anyway, that's all I really had tonight. Just being aware that that's what's going on. These are the forces at play. There's a lot of, archangels and God and Goddess are responsible for trying to stop these things, but we need to, as individuals, need to be praying for the other people that are still under that influence. Yep, there's demons of fraud and misrepresentation. Demons of fraud down here is one. I'm covering it, but it's demons of fraud. Demons of fraud and misrepresentation is on the bottom. And up top is breaking the circle. Anyel, breaking the circle. We need to break the circle that encompasses and encloses people and completes It entraps people into this demonic oppression and these spells, these negative spells that they have cast on the masses. We need to pray to break that, for people to awaken and to remember who they actually are before all the programming, before they absorbed all of these things, before they believed all these tales, all these lies, before they got disconnected from their higher self and their inner child, before they got disconnected from source, before they put up a boundary and put up a barrier between themselves and the light. That's what needs prayer the most. Lust and weak wills. There's a demon that they have invoked that makes people lustful and have weak will, very weak willpower. So they're very easily corrupted. They're very easy to back down too. Easily feared and scared into backing down, into not standing up for anything. To be easily greedy and easily corrupted. So if offered money to be quiet, they'll take it, because they're easily weak. They're just weak-willed. They don't do and listen to their intuition and do what's right, either out of fear or because they actually need something and they want what that need is more than doing the right thing. Archangel Vasaria, clemency. I like this deck because it at least tells me what demon. You also have a demon that is running rampant. It has been running rampant, especially in the trans community, the LGBT, but particularly the trans community, that is making people obsessed with moral imperfections, and also not just the trans community, making people obsessed in general, and in social media, influencers, a lot of people, and just that has been running rampant in general, or particularly with women. And the women have been the main thing, feeling that their beauty has to be, that their beauty is only like surface level in what they look like. This demon has been having people mutilate their bodies for decades, particularly women, and now it's coming after more so all people in any which way it can. Now we're seeing a larger population of people modifying their bodies in a very serious extent. With the social media age, especially pressure from other people in like the trans community have been doing this more and more. And a lot of people end up having problems or regretting it and doing it because they felt pressured, which is awful. And also some people getting this for just social media, for attention. It's crazy. Demons are running it and making people mutilate their bodies, making people feel. Demons are controlling other people who are telling them, oh, you don't look this way, or oh, you're ugly, oh, you have a flat ass, oh, you're not really trans if you don't get surgery, or whatever, if you didn't get all the surgery. So people are feeling pressure. I don't have anything against trans people. I'm saying a lot of people are doing it because they feel pressured, and then end up either having problems or regretting it, when they should have just listened to their own gut. There was nothing wrong with being trans. I was just saying a lot of trans people don't necessarily want like surgery or full surgeries. You know what I'm saying? So there's that. There's a demon that is making a lot of people, get surgery for the sake of getting paid more, you know, in different professions because of what, you know, you have a lot of influencers that are on camera all the time. I mean, in Hollywood, I mean, you know, look at Hollywood. Now, we don't have to even look at Hollywood. All you gotta do is open up social media, and there's a whole ton of influencers and random people you don't even know who you could tell they get work done, you know, in order to try to look better and look more attractive or appealing for, you know, different sponsors to want to work with them and pay them. That's just sad. And that's a demon that's controlling that, keeping people mutilating their bodies, harming themselves, and being inauthentic to themselves for the sake of money, more money. And there's an angel called Manakel that is trying to make people realize and discern more what's good and what's evil. Discern good deals and good people, and working with good people from bad people. Not all money is good money. So discerning what money is good money and what money is evil money is also something that the angels have to work on and are trying to work on with people. Because until people stop accepting money just because they need it and just taking a job, even if it's immorally not, you know, if it's a job that's not morally good, but just because it's, you know, something they can get or are being offered doesn't mean it's going to be a good experience for them. You know, money doesn't necessarily, more money doesn't mean less problems. Sometimes taking the job can mean more problems, and the money definitely doesn't make up for having to deal with more problems. You could be in a worse situation energetically, spiritually, physically, financially, emotionally, taking a job that you are immorally, you know, that feels immoral, that is not in alignment. Even if it is offering you, you know, life-changing numbers in your bank account, at what cost? What do you have to give up? Your morality? So that costs you more. That costs you more than what you know, you think you're making. You know, what you think you're losing by not taking the job, should I say. It's going to cost you more. It's going to cost dignity and respect and honor, which are far more valuable than money in the long run. So, but more people have to wake up to the fact, and wake up to the money being good or evil is not the money that's the problem. It's the source of who's giving it to you. Where are you getting it from? Are they good? Is it good or is it evil? It's not the money. It's who you're transferring money from to yourself from. Are they good or evil? Is their intention good or evil? That's all. Money's just a tool. If the people in the company, or the company is evil, sick, corrupt, immoral, then that's not good money. It's going to sour your life over time to take it. Because you're contributing karmically, negatively to the world somehow by doing business or working for the company. So more people have to wake up to that. And when people wake up to that and they stop taking and accepting jobs from these types of people, and stop being so easily, you know, weak-willed and easily corrupted or easily influenced to do things that are immoral, then those companies are going to have a harder time running. Those companies can't find anybody to do the job because people are finally listening to their moral compass. Then those companies will start to collapse. There's a demon that is also keeping people having, and this is what something my spouse and I were talking about this week. There's a demon, it's an ugly motherfucker, that is keeping people having extreme opposite opinions and opposing factions. But at the same time, the opposing opinions, like neither side is actually right. They're just arguing. And in their feelings. And they think they're standing for something on either side, but they actually aren't standing for anything at all. They're not doing anything worthwhile. They're not making a change. They're just arguing. And they're literally useless because they're caught up arguing over stuff that's not even, some of it's real, but a lot of it's not real. And they're in their feelings, wasting all their energy arguing. And this demon loves it because it's just harvesting energy. It's just soaking up all that energy for the greater cause, which is further and further division from the divinity, further and further disconnection of people from the divine, by getting them more and more of them caught up arguing, caught up being separate, caught up not being unified at all. Because when the people are divided, it's easy to conquer. It's easy for negative forces to conquer anything. Archangel Sealia is trying to help motivate and inspire some people by having these demons actually mess up and slip up and get some of them caught and some of the news come out that is true, so that people get pissed off. Having some of the big figures, especially in certain demographics, that are very much asleep. Some big figures associated to demographics of a large number of people who are very much still asleep and ignoring the truth, ignorant to the truth. So they have to use people like Diddy to wake up a large amount of people to take a chip at this iceberg, at this tip of the iceberg in the water, which is Diddy, because he's just a fall guy. He's just he did all these awful things, but he's just the tip of the iceberg. There's so many more. So many. It's so deep. He's got associations to tons of politicians. Like, what politicians are hanging out with musicians? Well, I'm doing cards on something else. But thank you for joining. I'm doing cards on something else with the archangels. But what politicians, and then you look at, it was very much more rare before like 2009, 2010 to see, before the Obama administration. And I voted for Obama, okay? I wanted to see a black president. Okay, I was ignorant, I was naive. I didn't know none of the stuff I know now, okay? I never thought that, like, any of that was going on. My president is black. My Maybach, too, okay? I thought that shit was dope. I thought, it was patriotic. And I thought it was weird that Jay-Z was meeting the president. That, the president had Jay-Z's phone number. And all these things. But let me tell you, Sean Combs is just the tip of the iceberg, okay? Sean Carter is where it gets deeper, and we get into who killed Aaliyah and Aaliyah's murder. Okay, this is something I knew about in 2000 and what was it, 3 or 2002? No, it was 2001 when she died, right? Wasn't it like August 2001 because it happened like right before September 11th, I think? Or was it the year after? I thought it happened like right before. Maybe it happened after. I don't know. But back then, I knew when her plane went down that something was wrong. Because when the news comes out too quick with a story, after, like when VH1, I always thought it was so weird. And this is kind of probably weird because I watched VH1 all the time. And I watched like MTV News all the time. That was what I was obsessed with. So I always said I'm an observer, right? This is why I was talking about entertainment law, because obviously it's important for this. One of the first questions I thought about and this is also part of my connection with the dead. So when somebody dies, and when somebody dies and it doesn't make sense, it's like I got alerted. When somebody dies and it doesn't make sense, or it wasn't written, because deaths have to be approved by the barons, okay, and certain archangels and have to give approval. But you didn't, yes, it has, but what I was saying is particularly the music industry picked up after 2009, but it was made more public in 2009. And I just thought that was weird. Okay, I thought that was weird. Because before that, it was more hidden. Yeah, you had like Marilyn Monroe and like the JFK associations and like all these other types of things. But I'm talking about like the music industry in particular. I thought was weird how it was becoming more like a norm and like buddy like, hey, like in your face and like joking and like, oh, like, you know, it's just not weird when like 60 Minutes is asking the president like, do you text Kanye or do you text like who? Like that's just like very strange to me. I thought it was strange. So I also thought it was very weird, like when Aaliyah died, that VH1 or MTV, I can't remember which one, MTV News, I think it was VH1, like all these other news, Eat Tonight or whoever has a mini documentary out right away. Right away, the life of, you know, Aaliyah Houghton, you know, the life of, you know, Lisa Left Eye Lopez from TLC. Like, she was doing good. Homie, like, was in, what, Honduras, like, chilling, like, nobody around on a road with, like, no traffic, you know, she was, I believe, from what I had heard, she was, like, studying and learning from Dr. Sebi, like, all about, like, health and herbalism and stuff like that. Like, you know, she had her crazy moments, but somebody obviously pushed her to be crazy, like lighting the whole mansion on fire or some shit on her dude. But like, what did they know? What did they know? What had they been through? Like, and were they in the way of somebody else getting something they wanted? So when, yeah, CMOS. So when these people die and it wasn't approved and called for them, it wasn't the time declared by God for them to die, it was like when the news came out, I knew it was something fishy. I just didn't know what. So it bothered me for years, and I was obsessed with researching and trying to find legitimate sounding news on Aaliyah's death for like 2 years. And it never sat right with me. And the first story, like one of the first stories I heard that they tried to write it off, like one of the first ones I heard was that the plane went down because the pilot had been drinking, like either before or the night before, or like too soon before. That was like one of the first ones I heard, and I said, that don't sound right. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Like, it just didn't resonate as truth. And then the next one that they said was that the plane was, the one that they went with, I think, was that the plane was too heavy. And I think there was one in between there, but I remember the one about him being drunk or something before takeoff, drinking before takeoff. It was the first one that I remembered. I was like, that don't sound right. I'm trying to blame the pilot. Don't sound right. Okay. But they settled on the whole plane being overweight. But I don't believe that to be true. Never have, never will. And same thing with Kobe Bryant. Nobody's really talking about that though, which I find strange, and nobody's bringing that up. It's like people forgot Kobe Bryant got. Like, people just believed that his helicopter just went crashing down, like a multi-millionaire's chopper just went crashing down in a route that was taken all the time, where choppers knew they couldn't go low over that mountain range, and all of a sudden the chopper just went right into the mountain range, right into the side of the mountain. Nah. And it just so happened that it was just like him and his daughter on board. No. And people think that like the same figures connected Nipsey Hussle, also connected with Dr. Sebi. and a documentary. Like you look at, I mean, this goes deep. You look at, you think Nipsey Hussle, after he just put out that record, Higher, and with DJ Khaled, after just collaborating with like DJ Khaled and like all these other artists, and like being in this prime was just somebody just decided to come up and shoot him outside his store one day. Like they had millions of opportunity to all other days. He was on to releasing a big documentary. And you think Chester and Chris and all these people like Robin Williams, I knew that shit wasn't right. When that happened, it didn't sound right. Yeah, he had depression. Yes, he had some substance, alcohol abuse issues, but you could tell if you followed his career. A, he loved kids. B, he loved people. And C, it just didn't sound like the way he'd go out. Like, it did not sound like the way that he would go. If he chose to do it, it didn't sound like that was going to be the way he did it. It doesn't sit right. And all these things are being tied and linked back, and they'll be continued to be creeping out. And it runs deeper than, like, I know. I only know a tip. It's deep as F how far this shit goes. Like, I don't even want to know. I honestly don't want to know because I'm probably sure I'd be overwhelmed. I'm very overwhelmed. More overwhelmed than I was in 2020. Because it's just a whole giant network of literally like demonic forces. People inhabited by demonic forces doing evil shit. Like, and they tell you in their music now, it's like so much clearer in the music. Like before, it was more like hidden, like it was there, but it was more like, I think it was like Johnny Cash's music, and even Elvis's music had a whole bunch of references to some bad stuff and forces, but like we didn't have music videos and stuff like we do today where it's all in your face straight up. And more so, those people were more oppressed and like under demonic oppression from the controlling demonic forces in order to have their career. And they were pretty much, it was like a cry for help rather than people that are straight up worshiping them and, you know, showing them off and, you know, doing the stuff that they're doing, like Lil Nas X and this and that. Like all these, you know, Cardi B now, which she was supposed to be dedicated, and she's been being roped back around and trying to be righted by the Orisha that walk with her and the mysteries that walk with her. But girl is on thin ice. Like she's literally sold her soul. She literally on thin ice. She's literally like in a penitence now to right her wrongs for turning her back on Loa and Orisha for money and fame. And she's been scared straight from the whole industry because she was not ready. But, you know, everybody got free will. So if she rights her wrongs and goes the right direction, maybe she can make up for it. But people will do anything for money and fame. It's wild. There's so many people. Almost everybody up in this bitch has ties to somebody who's in it. If they're not in it, they know, you know, or dated somebody who's part of it, or, you know, are friends with somebody who's part of it, even if they're not necessarily part of it. It's all pretty much all linked back together with, and it's sad. Sad. And people that you thought were positive figures, a lot of them, yeah, they're positive, or they serve like both sides. like they're a double agent, so to speak. Double agent that like has to be a part of it to an extent through association, stays mostly out of it, but because they're working for the light, they have to be involved. And like it's like between a rock and a hard place, because they don't want to have to be involved or associated with it or act like they're interested in that stuff in order to serve the light and get information. That's what I'm saying. People being used everywhere too. And not everybody that is linked to them are bad people. It's not, there might be an evil one, but not everybody linked to Diddy is awful. A lot of them have bad things that they've done too. But there are some people that are linked to them that are not inherently bad people. But they're willing to take a hit and be perceived as bad, gossiped about, in order to acquire the information that's needed for certain investigations and certain raids and things of that nature. And I won't say it because those are the people who we need protected. I won't say who they are. I know 2 of them, and I can't say them because if too many people knew what they were doing, that they were a double agent, that could put them in jeopardy and the missions in jeopardy of being successful. Because people need to still think. The people in their networks can't know, and the masses can't know. So I'm not going to say who they are, but I know 2 of them particularly that I've verified, and one I actually got verified through a government contact. But one of them, the other one, both of them I verified through this archangels, but one I actually was surprised when one of my government contacts verified it. That is part of an operation for this whole trafficking ring, which is good because I actually really like this, and he's in the music industry. But a lot of people, you'd be surprised who you think is positive and is actually, doing awful things. So that's why I'm saying the entertainment industry doesn't need to be truthful or real. A lot of it can be fake news, and a lot of them make up their own news, to make money or to a lot of them make up fake news to divert attention away from something that they perceive as, they're willing to make up a gossip, should I say, about themselves that they think is better than, that they're willing to have people believe and gossip about, and, then for people to be so focused on the actual true news and spreading that. So they'll make up their own gossip while the actual thing that happened, goes under the radar more, is like heard about by a little bit, but like then goes away because you're consumed with the other gossip, the big story that came out that is just like so crazy. And they make a lot of that up themselves. They sacrifice a lot of like their image. They're willing to take a hit on this, on some other news than, like Jennifer Lopez, like J-Lo and her marriage, and willing to spread the rumors of that occurring and being legit, rather than her marriage failing and stuff, saying that rather than saying that she needed to cancel her tour because nobody really was purchasing tickets. Like, they can't let you know that they're a failure in the business and that her movie was a flop. Okay. She has to still be perceived as a entertainer and a musical talent, and she has to still be marketable, because at the end of the day, the tour not selling is a problem. That means that's what they do offers off of. So if she can't even sell tickets for that, who's gonna want to pick her up for a box office or another movie, or you know, some other event? Who's gonna pay the bills for her? Because other than that, all she's got is gossip and tabloids, like trying to run stories on her, but and maybe some celebrity appearance events. But if you can't get in the box office because your solo projects or your last tour isn't doing well, and you're not going to get box office offers in the future because nobody cares, nobody likes your music, or nobody likes your documentary, nobody respects you, because she's just not that good at what she's doing. And she lip syncs, and and then who is it? Natalie, or not? I don't know if it was what her name was, Natalie or Natasha, the one who actually sang the hook and the chorus and like a lot of the ad libs and stuff for Jenny from the Block. Like her coming out on TikTok this last year and sharing that, all that, didn't help Jennifer Lopez. So she's willing to sacrifice some news and let people run with the news that like her relationship is breaking up, and they just rather than admitting that, to divert attention away from the tour, failing from her failed concerts and her failed projects. And she's broke, busted, and disgusted right now too, because she spent like a whole shit ton of her money on that documentary because nobody wanted to pick it up. She had to do it herself out of her own money. But if they do fail, if the marriage actually does fail, it would be because she doesn't respect Ben Affleck. She has no respect for his privacy, that I'll say. And sacrificed his privacy in the documentary. That's a deal breaker for me. That would be a deal breaker for me for sure. Anywho, kind of want to do. I don't do them, but I won't do it publicly. But it kind of makes me want to do a reading on it, on the situation. Even though the spirit's already telling me stuff, it'd just be fun. But I'm not gonna do it because I don't violate other people's free will. They didn't give me permission to. Anyway, this was fun. Definitely not going to be long next time. This was just because I haven't been on in a while. So, lucky numbers are open for next week. SamSpiritist.com. You have to sign up within an hour. The accountant is miserable in photos. Huh? SamSpiritist.com for next week for lucky numbers. And then, yeah, I am not taking any consultations anymore until at least July. Ben Affleck is miserable. Well, the photos that they get of him, yeah, they always take like the ones where he looks miserable, but the video beforehand, like the one where he looks miserable getting out, putting her into the car, he was actually like the video footage before that was he was actually upset with the paparazzi bothering the shit out of them. He was mad at them, I know that, because they were just all up in their face. He's a very private person, I know that. I remember watching him in learning documentaries when I was in like 6th grade. There was some like historical or like documentaries where he like was on a boat and he journeyed. I forget where he was. He was a kid and he was doing some sort of like educational documentary or some shit. And I used to watch it in like 6th or 7th grade. So, I don't dislike Ben Affleck. I don't find anything that he does like particularly exciting or anything, but I don't particularly dislike him either. I just think that he's a very private person. He's always been a private person, creative person, very private. And I just think that she doesn't respect his boundaries, because she let out personal things that he didn't want out in that documentary for the sake of selling the documentary and getting more people who were obsessed and wanted to know about the relationship, getting more views. Yeah. All right, this was fun. I gotta go. So I'll see you guys next week for lucky numbers here on YouTube. You can sign up on thesalmonspiritist.com for next week or weeks in advance, whatever you want to do. Peace, love, and many blessings.